Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped the channel reach 100 subs. I really appreciate all of the support. And to celebrate, I'm doing a gift card giveaway once we hit 200 subs. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how to enter. So let's get started with the video. Some horror villains come and go, but a select few became immortal. I will be selecting the 4 that shaped the genre forever. Welcome to the horror villain, Mount Rushmore. Carving a mountain is serious business. You can't just slap up your 4 personal favorites and call it a day. This isn't only about body counts or sick kills, though let's be real, that doesn't hurt. But my criteria is very specific. One thing I look at is impact. Did they invent the horror trope or perfect the one that already existed? Memorability. Are they instantly recognizable, a name you can pick out of a lineup? Also kill style. Is it unique, brutal, and unmistakably theirs? Also cultural legacy. Did they break out of movies and actually become part of the pop culture zeitgeist? Now, once you set those rules, these faces start to reveal themselves. So let's go ahead and begin. My first spot goes to the guy who basically built the template, the architect of the modern slasher, Michael Myers. When Halloween came out in 1978, it changed everything. John Carpenter took terror and dropped it right in your neighborhood. Your street, your neighbors, your front porch. Michael Myers literally called the shape in the script was the perfect vessel for that fear. He wasn't a monster, he was a man. And somehow, that made him 100 times scarier. Michael's impact genuinely cannot be overstated. He is the blueprint. Halloween wrote the book for slashers. The silent mass killer? Check. The final girl? Check. The evil you can't reason with? Check. All of it traces back to the one night in Haddonfield. What makes Michael work is how little there is to him. He's defined by the absence of character. Dr. Loomis said it best.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
He's purely and simply evil. No backstory needed, no motivation, just that. And it's been terrifying people for over 40 years. The image is unforgettable. A pale, blank William Shatner mask. Probably the most iconic visual in horror history. There's nothing on the face, which means you can fill it in yourself. Coveralls and a kitchen knife. That's it. No gadgets, no theatrics. Just evil. His kill style is patient and methodical, and the suspense he builds before he strikes is an art form in itself. The horror of Michael was never about elaborate setups. It's his persistence. The fact that he just keeps coming back, keeps surviving things that should have killed him a long time ago. He's a ghost wearing a man's skin, and he's been haunting the genre for over 40 years. My next spot is a killer that didn't lurk in the shadows or stalk you down the street. He came for you in the one place you were supposed to be completely safe. He is the master of nightmares, the bastard son of 100 maniacs, Freddy Krueger. See, by 1984, the slasher formula was pretty established. Then Wes Craven dropped A Nightmare on Elm Street and blew the whole thing up. Moving the horror into dreams was a stroke of pure genius. You die in a dream, you die for real. That one idea created a villain you literally couldn't escape. Going to sleep became a death sentence. It pushed horror out of the physical world into the subconscious, and the genre has never fully recovered from that shift. Freddy's look is just burned into your brain. The scarred face, the fedora, the red and green sweater, and the razor glove. Every single piece of that design is legendary. But what really separated him from the silent killers before him was his personality. Freddy was a sadistic, wisecracking bully who was genuinely enjoying every second of it. Robert Englund didn't just play the character, he made him a cultural phenomenon. Freddy wasn't just a monster. He was a horror rock star. Music videos, talk shows, merchandise everywhere. The guy transcended the genre. His kill style is the most creative in horror history. It's full stop. He doesn't just come at you. He digs into your specific fears and weaponizes them against you. Puppets, walls, surreal hellscapes that used to be your dreams. The real weapon is your own mind. That's what makes him the scariest thing on this list. Freddy didn't just define the 80s slasher, he outgrew it entirely. He introduced a smarter, more psychological, and infinitely a more personal kind of horror. That's why he's on this mountain. My third spot is the embodiment of pure, unstoppable force. The master of Camp Crystal Lake, Jason Voorhees. Friday the 13th started what seems to be like a cash grab, but the franchise ended up becoming something else entirely. And the reason for that was Jason. People tend to forget he wasn't even a killer in the first movie. But from part 2 on, he owned the franchise and became the face of an entire 80s slasher boom. Jason's whole thing is raw physical presence. He's not a person. He's a force of nature. His arc from a vengeful kid to basically unkillable zombie raised the bar for what a slasher could be. Later films gave him superhuman strength and the ability to just shrug off anything, turning him into this symbol of pure, unstoppable rage. Plenty of killers tried to copy that, but nobody quite got there. And here's the thing people sleep on. The franchise itself, especially Jason Lives, started leaning into the meta-humor way before Scream made it cool. Visually, Jason might be the most recognizable figure in the world. He started with a sack on his head, but the second that hockey mask showed up in part 3, it was over. Instant icon. That mask and a machete became a global shorthand for terror. His kill style matches everything else about him. Direct, brutal, no frills. No one-liners, no mind games. Jason is scary because there's nothing to negotiate with. He's just coming, and he's not stopping. From Crystal Lake to Manhattan to literal outer space, the footprint is massive. And it all built to Freddy vs. Jason, one of the biggest crossovers in horror history. The man perfected the unstoppable killer. He's on this mountain. Coming in at number 4 is the most unlikely titan on this whole mountain, and may spark controversy. A 3-foot-tall plastic nightmare who proved horror comes in all sizes. Chucky. When Child's Play dropped in 1988, slashers were all about tall, silent guys in masks. Then Don Mancini had this messed up idea to take childhood innocence and stuff a serial killer inside it. What came out was a character that completely changed what a horror villain could look like. A good guy doll possessed by the Lakeshore Strangler, Charles Lee Ray. Basically taking the one thing meant to be a kid's best friend and turning it into a weapon. The impact was immediate. Chucky nailed this mix of genuine horror and pitch black comedy that nobody else was doing, except maybe Freddy. While every other killer was standing silently in doorways, Chucky was cracking twisted jokes right before the kill.
Nothing like a strangulation to get the circulation going.
And somehow you were both scared of him and kind of rooting for him. That combination blew open the door for a whole new kind of slasher, one that didn't have to stay in the shadows. You can trace his influence all the way to modern stuff like the Annabelle and Megan series, which absolutely owes a debt to the doll that started it. His kill style is pure twisted creativity. He's tiny, so he improvises. A yardstick or even a toy hammer. Whatever's nearby becomes a weapon. And because he's a toy, there's this layer of psychological dread that goes deeper than most killers. You're not just scared of him, you're scared of the doll sitting in the corner of your room. Add in the fact that the franchise has been going on for decades and even made the jump to TV, and it's clear Chucky has more than earned his spot on this mountain. So there it is, my horror Mount Rushmore. 4 icons, 4 faces, carved into the mountain forever. But that's my mountain. And this kind of list exists to start arguments. Who would you swap out? And who's on your Mount Rushmore? Let me know in the comments. Let's debate it. And before I do end the video, I want to talk about how to enter the giveaway. All you need to do is subscribe, like, and comment to the videos. That's it. Once we hit 200 subscribers, I'll randomly pick one winner. Thank you all again for helping me reach 100 subs. And good luck to everyone. Until next time.